You ever have one of those moments that completely flips your world upside down, but somehow it ends up being exactly what you needed? Yeah, well, buckle up, because I've got a story about how a raging Karen, a decade-old shoulder injury, and a really good punch changed my life forever. I'm Ethan, 35, just your average guy who loves a good story, especially when karma hits like a freight train. For 10 long years, I'd been living with this janky shoulder. An old sports injury, nothing major enough for insurance to care about, but chronic enough to be a constant, dull ache, sometimes flaring into a sharp, debilitating pain. It limited everything, from lifting groceries to just getting a good night's sleep. I'd learned to live with it, but man, it sucked. This particular day, I was just trying to grab some snacks at a big box store. You know, the kind of place where you just want to get in and out. I was browsing the chip aisle, probably looking a little disheveled from my own internal battle with my shoulder, when this woman barrels up to me. Classic Karen, seriously. Short, severe bob, the kind of angry red face that probably defaults to furious, even when she's happy. Before I could even register her, she launched into it. "Excuse me, sir. Are you just going to stand there all day? I need assistance over in electronics now." Her voice was like nails on a chalkboard, already at an 11. I turned, a polite, weary smile on my face. "Oh, sorry, ma'am. I don't actually work here. Just a customer like you." Her eyes narrowed, scanning my very obvious civilian clothes. "Don't lie to me. You're wearing a blue shirt. All your employees wear blue shirts. I saw you loitering by the entrance earlier. Are you refusing to help a customer?" I swear the entitlement radiating off her was palpable. I tried again, softer this time. "No, really, I'm not an employee. My shirt's just blue. I can point you to the customer service desk, though, if you like." "Don't patronize me," she shrieked, her voice echoing a little. Heads were starting to turn. My shoulder was already twinging from the stress. "You're clearly trying to shirk your duties. I demand you take me to a manager right now, or I'm reporting you." I just wanted out of there. My patience, already thin from the chronic pain, was completely gone. "Look, lady, I'm really not an employee. I'm leaving. You need help, go find someone who actually works here." I started to turn away, trying to disengage, to put some distance between her screeching and my aching head. That was my mistake, or maybe it was fate. Before I could take a full step, her hand shot out. Not just a grab, no. It was a vicious, clawing lunge that locked onto my injured shoulder, and she twisted. The world went white. A searing, indescribable pain shot through me, like a lightning bolt made of fire and razor blades. I felt a sickening pop, a tear, a rip deep inside my shoulder. It wasn't just the dull ache anymore. This was something new, something catastrophic. My legs buckled. Every nerve ending in my body screamed in protest. And then pure instinct took over. It wasn't anger, not really. It was a primal, desperate reaction to the agony she'd inflicted. My vision tunneled. Without even thinking, my good arm swung up, a wild, uncontrolled punch born of excruciating pain and shock. My fist connected with a sickening thud. Her head snapped back. There was a spray, a flash of something white, and a choked, gurgling sound. She stumbled, then dropped like a sack of potatoes. The sudden silence was deafening. My arm, the one I'd punched with, was trembling. My injured shoulder was a supernova of pain, but the immediate, sharp agony of the impact had overshadowed everything else for a second. I looked down at her. She was sprawled on the floor, groaning. Her nose was definitely not where it should be, a dark red starting to bloom. And there, glinting on the polished floor beside her, were a couple of teeth. I felt a weird mix of shock, a residual surge of adrenaline, and a flicker of satisfaction. Like, oh wow, that happened. And she totally deserved it. A small part of me thought, oops, maybe I hit her too hard. But then the pain in my shoulder roared back and any shred of sympathy vanished. The next few hours were a blur of flashing lights, police questions, and a trip to the ER. My shoulder was indeed catastrophically damaged, multiple ligament tears, way worse than before. The Karen, meanwhile, was in a lot more trouble. Her assault on me, causing grievous bodily harm, was a felony. Her screaming, her refusal to back down, the entire security footage. It all painted a very clear picture of her as the aggressor. The legal process moved surprisingly fast. My lawyer, bless his heart, went for the jugular, and guess what? As part of the civil settlement, alongside her criminal conviction for felony assault, All my medical bills, including a full reconstruction surgery for my shoulder, were to be covered. Not just for the new injury, but for the pre-existing condition she exacerbated. It was like hitting the lottery, but with pain first. Karen was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Beyond that, the fallout was brutal. She lost her job, her husband divorced her, and she lost custody of her kids. And yeah, a significant chunk of her savings went to me. I mean, holy cow, the irony of getting my shoulder fixed because some entitled jerk ripped it worse was not lost on me. For the first time in 10 years, I could lift my arm above my head without flinching. I could sleep on my side. It was like I got a new lease on life, all thanks to her utterly deranged behavior. Years passed, life moved on, I got my strength back physically and mentally. The whole ordeal became a crazy story I told at parties. Then one day I was picking up some groceries and I saw her. Not the same severe haircut, but it was her, no doubt, working the checkout line at a discount store, looking worn out, tired. Just another face in the crowd. No entitled strut, no angry scowl. Just a person. I didn't say anything, didn't make eye contact, just paid for my stuff and left. But as I walked out, the crisp air hitting my face, I couldn't help but feel a strange mix of emotions. A little pity, sure. But mostly a profound sense of cosmic justice. She reached out to harm, and the universe, through my good old right hook, reached back and fixed me in the process. So yeah, to all the Karens out there, this one's for you. Treat people with respect. Don't assume. Don't touch. Because sometimes karma isn't just a quiet whisper. Sometimes it's a fully rehabilitated shoulder and a couple of missing front teeth. And it is truly a beautiful thing to behold.
Hey, real quick before the next one, if you're enjoying this, subscribing helps a lot. All right, story number 3 coming up. Okay, Reddit, I'm still buzzing, and not just from the Red Bull I usually chug. This morning, I faced down a legitimate villain at a gas station, and let me tell you, I'm still trying to process it all. I was just trying to grab a coffee and a snack at the corner gas station, totally minding my own business. You know, scrolling through TikTok, probably looking like a zombie before my caffeine hit. Suddenly, this guy, who I later found out was the owner, came storming around the counter, red-faced and looking like he just swallowed a lemon whole. Let's call him Mr. Grumpy because grumpy doesn't even begin to cover it. He points a finger right at me, practically spitting, "Margaret, what in the damn hell are you doing out here? Get back behind that counter. You're late for your shift and I told you no more damned cell phones on the clock." I blinked at him, genuinely confused. "Margaret, shift, I'm Aubrey, I'm 21, and I was wearing my favorite band t-shirt, not some stained uniform." I tried to speak, "Sir, I think you've got the wrong person. I don't work here." He just glared, his eyes narrowed into slits. "Don't you sir me, Margaret, and don't play dumb. I saw you trying to sneak off. Now get your butt in the back and put on your work shirt before I dock your pay." My blood went cold. This wasn't just a misunderstanding anymore, this guy was serious. And honestly, terrifying. He was a good head taller than me, beefy, and his face was contorted in pure rage. I'd gone from slightly annoyed to genuinely scared in about 2 seconds flat. My mind was racing. Do I try to explain again? Do I just walk out? What if he physically stops me? The idea of being forced into the back room by this psycho, it was too much. So I took a step back, trying to look him in the eye, and said as calmly as I could manage, "I am not Margaret, and I absolutely do not work here. I'm leaving." That was the wrong thing to say. He moved fast, too fast. Before I could even turn fully, he lunged, grabbing my arm just below the shoulder, his grip painfully tight. "Oh no you don't, you lazy excuse for an employee. You're not going anywhere until your shift is over." That was it. Fear turned into a sudden, white-hot burst of adrenaline-fueled fury. My brain just screamed, "Nope, not today, Satan." My free hand instinctively shot into my shoulder bag, feeling for something, anything. My fingers closed around the cold, cylindrical can of my beloved 20-ounce Red Bull. Without a second thought, I yanked it out and with all my strength swung it like a baseball bat. It wasn't a perfect hit. He saw it coming at the last second and instinctively ducked so it didn't connect with his face. but the heavy can still clipped him hard on the side of the head, and I heard a satisfying thwack and a surprised grunt. His grip on me loosened instantly from the shock. That was my cue. I yanked my arm free, dropped the Red Bull, sorry, caffeine gods, and bolted. I ran out of that gas station like my life depended on it, not even bothering to look back. I scrambled into my car, fumbling with the keys, heart pounding like a drum solo. Just as I was about to jam it into drive and peel out, Mr. Grumpy came stumbling out of the store, looking disheveled, rubbing his head. He saw me, and his demeanor changed from raging boss to pathetic worm instantly. Wait, young lady, I am so sorry. It was a mistake. Please don't go," he stammered, holding his hands up. Sorry, after grabbing me, yelling at me, and trying to force me into the back. No way. I was shaking, tears of anger and fear pricking at my eyes, but I wasn't backing down now. Before I could even decide whether to scream back or just drive away, a police cruiser pulled up, lights flashing right behind my car. I guess someone must have called them after seeing the commotion, or maybe a customer inside saw what happened. Thank God. The officer, a no-nonsense woman with kind eyes, stepped out. Mr. Grumpy immediately started his desperate apologies. "Officer, it's just a misunderstanding. I thought she was one of my employees, Margaret. She's always late. I cut him off, my voice still trembling but firm. "Officer, this man just physically assaulted me. He grabbed me, wouldn't let me leave, and tried to force me into the back room because he thought I was an employee. I had to hit him with a Red Bull just to get away." The officer looked from him to me, then back to him. "Sir, is that true?" Mr. Grumpy's face went white. "No, I tried to apologize. It was a misunderstanding." "It wasn't a misunderstanding when you grabbed me," I shot back, rubbing my now sore arm. "That's assault." The officer looked at the gas station owner with a serious expression. "Sir, I'm going to need to see your security footage." He tried to protest, but she wasn't having it. A few minutes later, she came out of the store looking grim. The footage apparently showed everything. My attempts to explain, his escalating anger, the grab, my Red Bull defense, and my escape. "Okay, Miss Aubrey," she said, turning to me. "I'm going to have to call your parents about this." I blinked. "My parents, officer, I'm 21. I can handle this." She gave me a sympathetic but firm look. "I understand, but given the nature of the assault and the severity of the situation, especially since you had to defend yourself, it's procedure. They need to know." Fine." My parents, bless their hearts, arrived looking furious and terrified. After they spoke with the officer, she turned to Mr. Grumpy, who was now standing with his head bowed, looking utterly defeated. "Mr. Grumpy," she stated, her voice clear and authoritative, "you are being charged with assault and battery. The footage is undeniable. Furthermore, I'll be flagging your establishment for a full investigation by labor and safety authorities. Your repeated pattern of abusive behavior towards your staff is evident in this footage, and frankly, disturbing." I felt a surge of triumph and relief. Yes, justice. But then the officer added something that made my stomach churn a little. "This kind of behavior is a serious violation. You're likely going to lose your business over this, Mr. Grumpy." Wait, what? Lose his whole business? I'm not gonna lie, a part of me felt a weird pang. Like, did I really want to be responsible for someone losing their livelihood, even if they were a total jerk? The officer seemed to sense my hesitation. She leaned in a bit, speaking softly. "Aubrey, what you saw on that tape, his behavior towards you, a stranger, was bad. But the way he speaks to and treats his actual employees, particularly the woman he mistook you for, it's much worse. This isn't just about one incident today. This has been going on for a long time. You defending yourself just brought it all to light." And yeah, when she put it like that, it made sense. If he was that comfortable yelling and grabbing a random customer, I could only imagine what his regular employees had to put up with. My fleeting sympathy evaporated. This wasn't just about me getting mistaken for Margaret. It was about stopping a genuinely abusive person from continuing to terrorize his staff. So yeah, I guess I'm a hero now, a reluctant Red Bull-wielding hero. I still feel a bit shaken, but also incredibly relieved. I really hope the real Margaret and any other employees are okay and find better workplaces. And as for Mr. Grumpy, well, I hope he learns a very, very painful lesson about not grabbing people, and certainly not mistaking a 21-year-old for his older lady employee, Margaret. What a day, definitely not how I expected my morning coffee run to go. Stay safe out there, Reddit, and maybe carry a can of Red Bull. You never know when you'll need it.
Ever had one of those days where you're just minding your own business, enjoying a little retail therapy, and then bam, entitlement smacks you right in the face? Yeah, my mom and I definitely had one of those recently, and trust me, you won't want to miss how she handled it. So last week, Mom and I were cruising through a department store, just aimlessly browsing. We weren't even looking for anything specific, just enjoying a rare leisurely afternoon. We ended up in this section with some really chic trench coats. You know, the kind that makes you feel like you could solve a cold case or defuse a bomb with a single, dramatic flourish. Mom was admiring a particularly sharp navy one, even commenting on how good the quality felt for the price, when this woman, probably in her late 50s with a perpetually pursed lip, came barreling up. She didn't even acknowledge me, just locked onto my mom with this intense, almost accusatory stare. "How much is that one?" she barked, pointing a perfectly manicured finger at the coat Mom was holding. Now my mom, bless her heart, is not one to back down or be rude, but she also doesn't suffer fools gladly. She looked at the woman, then back at the coat, and in her usual calm, collected tone said, "Oh, this one. I think they're $90, pretty good deal actually." The woman's lip practically disappeared into her face. $90? That's outrageous, absolutely scandalous. You need to go check in the back right now and see if you have the black pumps in a size 8. I know they're probably on sale, and I'm not paying full price for this. Her voice had risen several decibels, drawing a few curious glances from other shoppers. I swear my mom's face went from casual shopper to stone-cold poker player in about half a second. She slowly, deliberately, put the trench coat back on the hanger. Then she turned to the woman, her eyes narrowed just a fraction. "Ma'am," she said, her voice like ice, "I don't work here, and even if I did, I certainly wouldn't be going to the back for you." The woman, clearly not used to being challenged, actually sputtered. Her face went a shade of puce. "What? You don't work here." "Then how, pray tell, do you know the price of that coat?" She gestured wildly at the trench coat, as if its price was some secret forbidden knowledge. This was the moment. I saw a little spark of mischief light up in my mom's eyes. She leaned in conspiratorially, but her voice was loud enough to carry. "Well, darling," she said with a sweet, almost sarcastic smile, "I happen to know the price because I bought 2 of them myself just a couple of weeks ago. A black one and a beige one, totaled $180, and I absolutely love them." The woman's jaw actually went slack. Her perfectly coiffed hair seemed to droop a little. She blinked once, twice, a deer caught in headlights. She opened her mouth as if to protest, but no sound came out. Instead, she just turned on her heel and practically speed-walked away, muttering something under her breath that sounded a lot like ridiculous and the nerve. As we walked out of the store, my mom linked her arm through mine. "You know," she said, a thoughtful look on her face, "I really think that woman just saw me, a woman of color, and immediately assumed I was staff. Like I was just there to serve her." I raised an eyebrow. "Really, Mom? You think it was that specific?" She shrugged, maybe not just that, but definitely part of it. She looked at me like I was just a walking retail worker, told me to go check in the back, like I was her personal assistant. It wasn't about the coat price. It was about her demanding service from someone she thought she could boss around. It's wild, isn't it? And honestly, she had a point. The sheer audacity of some people to just assume and demand, it's baffling. We just chuckled about it the rest of the way home, shaking our heads at the sheer entitlement. And that, folks, is how my mom, with nothing but a good memory and a sharp tongue, shut down a classic "I don't work here, lady" moment. You gotta love her.
Click here for another great one, you won't regret it.